So you may be thinking, if you're watching this, why is Andy wearing a cycle helmet and sweating? And where's the nice blue swirly thing he usually has behind him? Well, I've just got back from a mountain bike ride here in the UK. It's about a degree cooler, so I thought, well, I'll go cycling. It's a little bit overcast. It's less oppressive heat. So I've just been out for an hour and a half cycling, and it was quite nice. And the last little stretch of my journey home involves a little bit of road use, and along a road and turn right, and I'm home. And I came to the roundabout and I was indicating. I'd pulled to the right-hand side, and there's a roundabout I have to use, a little tiny one. And as I indicated, there was a motorbike coming the other way. And as I came to a stop, he came to a stop. So I carried on thinking, oh, great, he's actually seen me indicating. He's ready for me rather than just riding across like I've seen so many times. And as I'm going across, he screams at me with lots of profanities and expletives. I'm not going to repeat about the fact that I hadn't bothered to indicate. Well, I had indicated actually quite clearly, and all the cars behind me were waiting very patiently. But here's the thing. He was screaming really loudly through his helmet that was up. And in the UK, that's a crime. You're not allowed to do that. If you've got a helmet, it needs to be pulled down and locked into place. Otherwise, it doesn't class as a helmet. If he'd had it pulled down and not up in the way, he'd have actually seen my indication with my arm very clearly. So he screams off and he's all angry. And it got me thinking about how we judge situations, and sometimes what we see is really not what we're seeing. If he'd actually been riding legally rather than illegally, as he should do as a much older gentleman on a bike, he would have actually been able to see everything around him. And the thing on bikes is you have to try and be aware of everything. I'm a biker, I'm a trucker, I know how to do those things and what needs to happen. And one of the things you always are really careful of is you make sure you know what's going around you. Field of vision is so important. Because he had his helmet up, he couldn't actually see what I was doing quite clearly. So before we go off shouting at people and judging people for how terrible they are, you've done this, let's make sure we haven't got things blocking our eyes. The scripture that comes to mind is take the plank out of your own eye before you take a splinter out of somebody else's, or whichever way around it is. I need a shower, it's hot. But let's be careful not to make judgments of people. And if we're going to make comments to people to help them in a positive way, let's make sure we haven't got blinkers on so we can't physically see something and then make a complete fool of ourselves, which is sadly what this individual did today. Which I felt sorry for him because it's hot and he made a fool of himself. So let's not do that. Let's live peaceable lives for Jesus. And I'm going off for a shower. Have a good rest of your day. Bye for now.